1, 2. Okay, so, yeah. So, Arthur's not here. Arthur comes tonight. Actually, Monte, he he uh, he was in one of the sessions. So he's just coming back to try to see if he could follow along. So, anyways, so we get started. So you can stand right behind the camera there. Oh, if you want to stand on this side, then and then yeah, okay, right in the middle there. So you can follow Nan or whoever is in front of you. Just do the best you can. It's been a while. All right, ready? So we're going to get started. Hands up like this. Great. The mic on? Yep. Oops, sorry. Testing, 1, 2. Can you hear? No? Testing, 1, 2. Is this me? Testing, 1, 2. Yeah, that mic's working. Testing, 1, 2. Okay. Okay, mic's on. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Hands here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay? Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Hands up. Reach down. 1, 2, 3. To your right. To your left. Center. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands on your waist. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center cross, knees, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Switch hands, reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and stop. Okay, hands on your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, center, tilt to the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2, center, down, circular movements, 1, 2, 3, reverse, 1, 2, 3, center, hands up, pull in, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Spread your feet, turn your shoulders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, and stop. Okay, turn, stretch it out. Switch. 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 Okay, we switch again. Straighten the front knee. Stretch out the leg. So this one, we have a straight leg in the front. And we switch to the other side. So we move to center. So with these, just do the best you can. Don't strain, don't force it. Okay. If you can, squat now, but just work the legs gently. If it's too much, you can actually just pause and do something else. shake it out. Okay, hands up. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, hands in your waist. I'm going to do shoulder rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Okay. Press, release, exhale, inhale. And stop. Hands up. Pull in, up on your toes. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, wrist circular movements. Try to include the knees. Good. Reverse. Okay, palms down. Bigger circle. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, shake it out. So hands on your waist. Going to go side to side. Then we're going to lift the knees, alternating the knees. All right. Okay, let's lift. Hands here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, keep it going. Do a few more. Slowly lift the knee. Balance. 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 And balance. Okay. So let's bring the hands up and down like this. And we're going to coordinate the knee with the hand. So your opposite hand goes up, the knee goes up, you go down, up, and down, up, and down, up, and down. Good. Then the other side. So we start like this, set it up like this. One's up and one's down. This goes up, the knee goes up. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. A couple of more. 1, 2. 1, and stop. Okay, shake it out. Swinging the arms, then we're going to pull in the right leg, just like the leg swing exercise. And center. Okay, switch the other side. Alternate the hands and center. Okay, now we go side to side. And stop. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Oh, other side. Okay. See, I turn around, it's the same leg. No shortcuts here. Just checking to see if you're paying attention. Okay, relax. So Steve doesn't get to leave early. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to do the silk reeling. So we're holding the ball like this. And then go forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. So transfer a little weight to the front leg. Then sit back to the back leg. So the knees are folding. Turn. Building that multi-dimensional motion. And center. Okay, switch the other side. Hold the ball. Go forward and back. Forward and back. Forward and back. And continue. center. Okay, now we're going to set up like this. Open and close, cross the arms. We expand and cross. Open and close. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Open and close. And switch. Cross the arms, facing the front, turn to the side. We have our left foot forward at this point. Relax the shoulders. Drop the elbows. And center. Okay, feet parallel. Preparation, elbows and knees. Sink the elbows, fold the knees. Okay, lower hoop, hold the position. Shoulder height. Elbows down. And lower. Palms down. Straighten the arms, lift the back. Extend.
up. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands like this. So, yeah, step out. Does this diagonal flying. Okay, switch, other side, diagonal, arms are crossed over like this, and they're parallel. So they're working in the same plane, separating and splitting. Okay, back to center. Vertical elbow, cloud hands. Alternate the hands. Turn the shoulders. Go to the corner, 45 degrees. And center. Okay, palms down. Palms up, lift, carry tiger to the mountain. Cross the forearm and down. Lift up, open and cross. Lower hoop, palms up, and continue. And here. Okay, infinity sign. Form the fist. palms together, strum the lute, vertical elbow, turn, draw the bow. So once you turn to the side, pull the elbow back in that direction, the opposite direction. And center. Okay, now let's spread the feet out a little wider. Fan to the back, go to your left, cross the arms, move to your right. Okay, center. Parallel. Raise the hand. Go to a center. Reach up high as you can just for the stretch. And stop. Okay, palms down, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, shake it out. Relax 2 seconds. So, Monte, you've been following the videos. You actually did very well with the warm-ups. So you still are you still doing them? So yeah. So we're gonna move on to the short form, which we didn't do a lot of, but you can try to follow along. And eventually, you'll have to try to pick up on that sequence. So anyways, we'll start off with our feet parallel. You can just follow either Nan or Steve, who's ever in front of you. We'll get the mirrors, so it makes a big difference. So we start off with our feet parallel. Preparation. We step up on the right side, left side, and go forward. Horizontal elbow. Sit back and turn the corner. Flip the elbows. Step up. Right side, grasp the sparrow's tail. So this could be a little bit too quick for you, but at this point, just sort of pay attention to the sequence, and we eventually will break it down. single whip, hold the ball, shift your weight, diagonal flying, shift your weight, step up, press forward, step up, raise the hand, bend from the waist, stalk flaps wings, and relax. Turn, now we're in this direction, brush knee and push. You turn to your right, horizontal elbow, drop your elbows and push. Sit back, go forward, twist step, step up, brush knee and push. Sit back, go forward, twist step, brush knee and push. Sit back, turn to the right, back to center, lean forward, close the door, form the fist, and punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Go back to neutral left, turn to your right, lower the hand, slice out, fist under elbow. Neutral position, repulse the monkey, going backwards. 3 times, left side steps back first. We're going to go to the right side, straighten the back foot, and go backwards. 1, 2. Sit back and forward, straighten the back foot, and reverse. And push. Hold the ball, diagonal flying, step up, slant diagonally, sit back, insert the needle like that exercise, step up, fan through the back just like in the drill, turn, stroke down, big circle, parry and punch. Step forward, form the fist, and head toward the side mirror here. Punch, divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Okay, bring the hands down. Turn to the rear corner so we're facing the back side now. And we lift up to cross hands. We only have these few movements here. So Nan's over there, Monty. Yeah, follow her. Bend from the waist, stalk flaps wings. Then we turn toward Nan, toward the mirrors. Left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Oh, left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Yeah, hook your wrists. Turn back to the back side. Single whip. Hold the ball. Flip the hands over, reverse the ball. Diagonal flying. Sit back. Stroke down. Part the horse's mane. Step up. Stroke down. Part the horse's mane. Cross corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and push. Sit back, cross over, change the hands and step up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop your elbow, hook your wrist, turn toward the front. Open the stance. Now we're in the single whip position again. And then we'll do the cloud hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hook your wrists. Open the stance. hold the ball and reverse the ball. Set it up, step backwards and forward, to the side, to the center. Okay, shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So, you gotta go, okay. All right. Have a good, yeah. Okay. Everything go well? So, yeah, he's electrician. He's meeting an electrician. Yeah. So, so Monte, as you can see, the sequence is something that we have to really practice and learn a little bit at a time. It's pretty tough to just follow along. So most of the students here have been doing it for, many years. Yeah. So like I always mention to the newer people that first you have to build the coordination. So from the warm-ups, he did pretty well, and then you kind of identify the postures. And the first round of learning is trying to memorize the sequence, because that's always a big problem for anybody learning in the beginning. And then after you learn the sequence and you can kind of get through it on your own, then you're trying to refine it somewhat, improve your footwork, improve your sort of muscle memory and the joint angle positions, and you build off of that, and you can evolve, and you go through it, and you evolve. So it's a great exercise for the neurons in the brain, the motor skill, right? It's motor neurons, and your brain actually has to figure a lot of this out by taking the information you feed it. So we get information several ways. Some of it's from conversations, the dialogue, the principles. That's a verbal transmission, which is supported in the beginning mainly to explain the postures. But as you evolve, the verbal transmission, which is really more of the principles and theories, comes in, and it trickles in as information. And your body and your brain start to sort of assimilate the ideas, and at the same time develop sort of what I call the body intelligence. So a lot of people say, well, how does the body get more intelligent? It's from doing it, because the body doesn't really know much about movement, other than the fact that it has a capacity to move. So we have to try to develop coordinated movement, synchronized movement, control using our sensory system, proprioception, using your sensory system from touch and detection of space, and sensitivity to the ground, and sensitivity to how your body feels when you move. That's all tied to our proprioception, sensory system, and how our mind is trying to interpret what gentle, soft movement is. So all these are concepts. But while we're going through this, it will enter subconscious, and it will enter sort of this knowing phase. Your body will know it if you do it long enough and often enough. What it doesn't know is why you're doing it, right? Functionality. Why do we do this? Why do we have to move like this and not like this? We have to move like this a certain way because we're trying to do something with movement. Movements really have, a reason to do it. So we lift our arm. That's just the fact that you lift. But whatever you do that involves lifting requires that action. Whatever you do when you lift requires a certain group of muscles. And if you're standing, the arm will do this. If you're sitting, the arm will do this. It does it depending on. So your body could be in different places and different situations doing a movement. But how much strength, all of this stuff is an understanding. To lift something that's 2 ounces and to lift something that's 2 pounds, or something who's lifting 20 pounds, or something that's 200 pounds, your body can react and detect that it needs to bring this much strength into it. If you try to do this with a 200-pound weight, most likely it's not going to happen because your body's going to say, it stops because you don't have the strength to do it. Now you can force it and make it happen, but that becomes mind intent. The intention is to lift it, but do you have the strength and the leverage to do it in a position that's not really designed to do that? So doesn't mean someone that's very strong can't do this because they've trained to do it. But if you're an untrained person that's never lifted 200 pounds out here, it's impossible for you to do. So that's what we learned and experienced from doing gentle movement, sequential movement, and ideas. So how much strength we do or how much strength we use in a posture really is regulated. So we're controlling the components of our body virtually. So before we went virtual, we've always been doing things virtually. It's a virtual understanding of movements that we sort of imagine we're doing. A diagonal flying. We don't know what a diagonal flying is till we kind of do it. And a diagonal flying is described as a movement that goes on the slant. It's on a diagonal. And then there's different, principles defining those movements in 8 simple principles. It's the rounding, it's a ward off or a forward movement, a sitting back or a roll back, a press or a connection or a press becomes another one of those concepts, and a push. So push is using your palms. It could be pushing down, pushing forward. It could be pushing up or pulling down, whatever it is. It's the idea of using your palms. And then separating the hands is called splitting or separating. Splitting, it's called a splitting energy or splitting in a movement. And then you have pull down or plucking. Plucking is sudden movements in a direction. So plucking would be a rollback with a combination with the plucking, which you pull down, then it becomes a sudden motion. And then the other two are your shoulders and your elbows, right? So those, it's called an elbow stroke or a shoulder stroke. So a stroke is when you kind of move it in a direction as if you're stroking. And that's the 8 different energies, they call it. But those 8 things are really how we manipulate our skeletal structure. And they create these different ideas as 8 different motions, and we use those 8 movements in the postures as a transition. So once we build off of that as an idea, splitting is, we see most obviously the diagonal flying. Splitting could be fan through the back, right? Splitting could be raising the hand. Anytime your hands separate, it's kind of a splitting motion. Splitting is separating, parting. Part the horse's mane. You're parting the hands as if you're sort of stroking the horse's mane or moving up. So those are just to give you an idea as what a motion is like, because when we bring up an idea through an explanation, it gives you a little bit of insight of what's happening. So it gives you something to kind of connect to. So whatever it is that you're familiar with, that's the idea that a teacher would probably use as a metaphor or some type of interpretation of what that's doing, so that you can say, okay, now I can relate to it. But if you can't relate to a movement because it's so different from what you've ever done, that it takes a little while for you to digest it here, for you to kind of see what you're trying to do. And then the idea of gentle movement is to soften the movement so your muscular doesn't get too tense, or you put too much strength into the movement because it becomes too physical. So one of the things we try to do is take out all the physicality of the motion so that it's much more gentle and soft, And soft movement requires more control. Gentle movement requires more releasing of tension. So while you're doing that, you're teaching your body the idea of softness, because softness allows you to be much more stable in your position, much more relaxed, and less conflicted in how your body is going to move. So what ends up happening is your body becomes sensitive and more astute as to what your movements are doing. So if you have a lot of physical movement that's very demanding, then that's what you're practicing, that physical side. That physical side, if you're practicing like that, becomes a dominant thing, then everything must be like that. Because unless you tell your brain, no, don't do that, then it just wants to do something very physical or put that much effort into it. So effort is kind of regulated. So the way I think of it is summation of components. So we can put a lot of effort in one arm, like you're using a hammer, but when you get good with using the hammer, then you might start to put your back into it. You might drop with gravity. You might pull your back. Like if you're chopping a piece of wood and it goes forward, you would notice that your body is going to go backwards. Why does it do that? It has to compensate for the forces being acted on. If you did this and stayed stable like that, you would fall over. And not only that, but if you go like this and you just keep your back stiff and rigid, after half a dozen strokes, your back is going to be sore because it's tense, keeping you from falling over. But if you do this, then you're folding and you have an equal opposite reaction. So we have all these kind of actions inside the form, but we'll realize it or not. So we'll raise the hand and we bend down and we lift. When you bend, you're essentially doing this, and you can't bend down forward without your back going backwards, so your butt will stick out. Back to that topic, huh? But the thing is, if you're standing up against a wall like this and you try to bend forward, you're going to feel your body pushing against the wall, and before you know it, you're going to fall forward. So you have to actually do this. That's your center of mass alternating the position so you don't collapse and fall on your head. Your body knows how to do that. So that's a natural response, right? Because it just knows not to tip over. But if you're not aware of that and your body is stiff and you bend over, you're going to go forward because there's no releasing. That's how people fall. So when people fall as they get older, it's not because they're just weak. It's because the body doesn't respond correctly. It's because there's tension and the forces acting on you you can't respond quickly enough or even know how to respond. But if you're doing this, if you're going to fall, you actually will go like this and you reach down. You're going to be limiting the impact or sinking your knees. Yeah. Yeah. It's moving by itself subtly. You're not doing a massive shift, but the fact that my hand goes here and it goes here, you can feel it in the soles of your feet without actually moving, right? So you're going to feel it in the soles of your feet as you go that way and that way and that way. You feel it in the soles of your feet. Your feet are responding to the action. So the fact that I go this way, my body will go that way. The fact that I go down here, it centers and it goes that way. But it's not so much as a abrupt thing. Then you start to wiggle like you're doing, the hula or whatever. You just. But the other thing is, okay. So that's what's happening. But not only are you going from side to side, you actually have to turn the body ever so slightly in your torso so your hands will pass by your body ever so slightly. Slightly, yeah, yeah. So actually, this is a question. Your whole body is actually involved with every movement you do because we're standing up. But we don't pay attention, or we can't detect how the body's moving typically because it's not sensitive or aware that it has to. But we can do something without any real understanding of what is happening. Because we replicate emotion based on how we see. What we're seeing is really the information. So when we see this, we see that the hands are doing this. But you don't know what the legs are doing. You don't know what the torso is doing. You don't know. So you can create the same action, but what ends up happening is that the body will pick up on it. Now, part of your progression is to develop an understanding of what is actually happening. So the idea, am I shifting? You're shifting. So all of this stuff is happening. So that's really becomes a level of understanding. So it took 20 years to ask a question like that, right? So day one, when we did this, and I said you're shifting your weight, you would probably say, what's he talking about? So you really, it has to be information that your body is ready to adapt to, and then it becomes a question. But at the same time, because we're talking about, information that's consistently throughout the whole body's involved, integration of body, shifting of weight, then all of those comes in sort of degrees of shifting. What is the degrees of shifting? Is how much, the intensity of it. If you're 50-50 like this, if I move like that's 49-41 or 49-41, is it 49-51? And yeah, so when you shift from side to side, it could be just that little, or it could be 0 to 100. And 0 to 100 means you're going to have to move that other foot, like in cloud hands. When we shift like this, then it becomes 0 to 100. When we step through, and we sit back, and we step, this becomes 0 to 100. So 0 and 100 is something that you can really determine. 4150, 4951 is a little harder to figure out. And you don't really need to figure out. It's just used as an example of the minute shift. So we're measuring these amounts of shifting, whether we know it or not, but we don't really have to know the numbers. We just have to know that we have to make a full transition, support the whole weight on this leg. If you're standing and you're doing this, this is 0. There's 0 weight in the position, but it doesn't mean your leg is weightless. Yeah. 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 It's because when you're lifting your body, we have one point between the feet that is your center, and it goes right through your body, right? Lifting this side with your center here is impossible. You shift a little, and then you start to be able to lift. Now, if you haven't shifted enough in your lift, there's a conflict in the movement. So that means this leg and this body that's involved with the lift has to compensate. So you're using a lot more strength. When we shift like this, now this is something you might not even pay attention to, but when we shift like this, when our hip goes like this, at some point this leg becomes weightless. So it just will swing. If I pick this up and relax it, it would drop right beside the other foot. So when it drops behind the other foot, I just have to lift straight up, and it's just supported by this leg. And it has less conflict of movement. So your body and your mind doesn't have to figure out too much. It knows that this is the balance point and this is what's supporting it. So when we shift and we lift, when we speak of muscle memory is joint angle position controlled by your musculature, right? So when we shift to here over time, your body will know where the vertical center is, and your body will be just stacked up. It's like that game that they have you stack up these little cubes of different shapes. And the reason why it tips is the higher it goes, the center of gravity goes higher, the center of mass goes up. And if you don't put it in the exact space to balance that position, it's going to tip over. Well, your body is like this. We have these pieces. If we don't stack them correctly, then you're going to have a misalignment. And so if I did this and I lift, it's going to be different because I have this sticking out. So I have to compensate for this by doing something on this side to find my center. So that's really, changing a center of mass. But we can do it because the body can be tense a little bit, trying to find what that's like. So when we do the kicks and we start to wobble like that, it's because there's an action here that's uncontrolled. So what has to happen when you go like this? That the torso has to relax. If you don't relax the torso, then you can't adapt. So that's what balance is. Balance is adapting your body form to position without, having a conflict. Now, when you stand like this and you close your eyes, you lose your visual. Yeah. So when you close your eyes, then you lose your spatial visual alignments that you normally would have. So you have to really rely on your sensory system. So that's a tough one. So if you try it, stand and close your eyes. Well, that's because he has too many of those drinks that he has. That's called that's a. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Actually, when you go like this, and you practice with your foot here, you have to find that 0%. If you try to step and step and step, you lose your balance. So you have to go to the Tai Chi positioning, shift, and then shift, and then shift. I'm going this way. So you can see how footwork and stepping really makes a difference, and how you control it. But we have a system of proprioception that we can fool some of the normal conflicts and those kind of things. So, like if your eyes are not focused, you put on a pair of goggles that kind of look like everything's distorted. Then that's the kind of visual you get when you're intoxicated. I mean, severely intoxicated. Because they did that at an auto show one time. I think I mentioned to you that the state police were there, and they were doing the sobriety test, and they said, walk the line. So you walk it, you walk the line. Then they say, okay, turn around, and then they'll give you these glasses. One's not so foggy, and he said, okay, do it now. Put these on. So I put them on. But I didn't really look through them, because you're using those goggles to look at the line, and the line is going to go like that. So you're going to follow the line. So you're like that. So I didn't use the line. I didn't use the goggles. I used my feet. Because when my toe touches the heel, or the heel touches the toe, I know that I'm moving. Yeah, so you use spatial perception, which is, most people don't have that because they don't know to do that. So that's what you learn from Tai Chi. Is it important? We're doing theory right now. Okay, we're going to go through the form now. So you can follow along, Monte, if you want, or you can see what the long form is like. No, they're just samples of what you will improve upon, some of the things that people have trouble with, like that walking that line. So that's an idea that you can learn, and you can. So anything that we do and we talk about it, you can take it home and practice it too. Yeah. This is on tape. This is on tape. This was all recorded. So if you go to YouTube, you'll see it. No, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is 9:30. 9:30. These are live. These are happening live. So when we watch them do it, they're actually being videoed. It's Tai Chi has benefits, and a lot of people say, how do you get benefit from Tai Chi? So I just use these examples of how an average person might not think along these lines as to walking that line or turning a corner, pivoting, and so forth. So those are things that you can do. It's like walking a tightrope. If someone was, in the circus, or they're doing acrobatics, and they're practicing walking the tightrope, they carry a bar and they walk like this. But the thing is, they don't practice up there. They practice here. Till you get good at it, then you go up a little higher and you do it, and you go a little higher. Then later you have enough confidence to go through from the training. So. Practice. When you get one of them is, as you get older, you become less physical, less aware of things, and there is some degeneration of the body. Your body will degenerate as aging. Everything is like your car. What causes your wheels to go? The more you drive, the more aware. But if you take care of it, like your body, then you're going to be aware of it. But most people don't do this. They sit at home. They don't do anything. So. Yeah, because this is a regular class. Yeah. Yeah, what I did with the Parkinson's class was, I did them actually, but I explained more and scaled it down because that's what the benefit is doing this. But we're going to go through the form. You can either follow along the best you can, and there's a pole behind you, and then, or you can sit and watch, and either way. Yeah. So eventually, we'll see how many new people come. So new people like yourself really needs to do a separate 10 or 15 minutes on sequence, and then build off of that. And I'll see, if we get enough people to do that, then we can follow up with just a session for intro Tai Chi form. Because so right now, this is after the pandemic, everything got lumped together, whether it's kids and adults. So at this point, if people start coming back, then we're starting to break it, splitting it. So actually this semester this quarter, I have 5 to 6 year olds on Wednesday at 5 o'clock, 7 to 11, I think 10 or 11 on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. So far we have 0 response, but so anyways, I know. I think they're not coming because it's April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day, so no one's coming. Okay, all right. So we're gonna start off now. Okay, we're totally focused on the form now. So strum the lute, close the door. So this is all inside the Tai Chi Paradigm form in the beginning. The first 16 postures. Here's your carry tiger to the mountain, just like that exercise. We cross the forearms and we go to the corner. It's oblique. Brush, knee, and push. So remember this term, brush, knee, and push. So we have actually only one there, and then we go to the other side. That's just a repeating of that movement. Then we have right side grasp the sparrow's tail. And in this form, we only do the right side. And we're in the corner. We turn, pivot. This is what teaches us how to take us in a direction. Stroke out, fist under elbow. Repulse the monkey. Lower the hands, carry tiger to the mouth a second time. That's a twist stance. This is a opening of the stance. Hold the ball again. Slant diagonally. Shift your weight, step up and press forward. Here's your press. Press. Lift. Down. Around. Stork flaps wings. Relax the shoulders and elbows. Turn. Turn to your right. Brush knee. And push. Sit back. Insert the needle. Step forward. Fan to the back. Turn. Stroke down. Parry and punch. Step backwards. Form the fist. Divert, block, and punch. Step forward. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Hook your wrists. Opens. First set of cloud hands. And back to single whip. Then we're going to turn. And then we're going to do the first instep kick. Then we do the second instep kick or the toe kick. Then we turn and do a left heel kick. And then we set up for a brush knee and push right and left side. And we set up for planting punch. And we turn. Parry and punch. Step up. High pat the horse. Beat the tiger. Open the stance. Cross behind. Step up. Open the stance. Turn to beat the tiger corner. Drop the elbow. Stroke down. Go to the back corner, form the fist, lower, cross, level, right heel kick, 2 punches to the ears, left on top, flip it over, potting leg, and turn. Potting leg, stroke down, parry and punch. Form the fist, punch. Divert, block, and punch. Cross the arms, leopard and tiger springs to mountain. Turn. Cross the arms, turn. Brush knee and push. This is your obliques again, the second time. So after the second time, we go back to single whip. Grasp the sparrow's tail. Now we turn back to the front. Now we hold the ball. This essentially takes us into the next half of the form, where we're going to do the diagonal flying, right side to pot the horse's mane. So the bulk of the movements happen up to this point. Then we step through again. We're in the vertical position to pot the horse's mane for the last 2. Now we're going to cross corner, do 4 Jade Lady work shuttles. Forward, back, and forward. Now we're going to spin, pivot, pivot, cross, and step. Jade Lady work shuttle, and we have a pot the horse's mane here. Then we cross over, same format, just it's not even a mirror image, it's just doing the same movements on the back side. Cross over, and we're on the right side again, back to the corner where we do the grasp the sparrow's tail. That leads us to the front, the single whip. Okay, then we do the second cloud hands. And once we do the second cloud hands, we begin the first downward posture and a repeat of the sequence which we already done in the first section, or the first 2 sections. And we're back. Hook your wrists. Here's our downward posture. Snake sticks out tongue. Invert the hand. Pull down. Step up. Here's your single-legged golden cockerel. Come through center. Step down, press, and go through center. Maintain the center line. Repulse the monkey. Here's your second set. This is the big repeat. So we have the repulse the monkey series that leads us to carry tiger to the mountain with the twist stance. And then we open the stance, set us up in the horse stance to hold the ball, step up, press forward, step up, and stork flaps wings. We already did this in the first half. Brush knee, second, insert needle, step up to fan through the back. Okay, turn. Same parry and punch. We have this in the Tai Chi Paradigm. We also have it here. And we do the step up. We step forward. Form the fist and punch. divert, block, and punch. Step up, grasp the sparrow's tail. Okay. Now, back to single whip. Go to the third set of cloud hands. And just for a reference point, once we do the third set of cloud hands, we have the last section, and it's kind of, another grouping of movements that we tie together, and it's done twice. Okay, now when we go here, this starts the palm strikes face section and the two lotus kicks. So here's a slap. Okay, then once we slap, we do a brush knee push. Then we do a forward position, do a punch down the crotch, which it looks kind of like a planting punch. Then we step up, we'll grasp the sparrow's tail. Then we go back to single whip. There's only 3 sets of cloud hands, so then we're going to repeat the downward posture. And you pull down. You step up to 7 star. This is actually called 7 star, but the thing is, we lift the knee, it's like golden cockroach. So there's a similar transition there. We hook and ride the tiger. This is different. Palm strikes face left. That's the same. Turn. Double lotus kick. Draw bow to shoot tiger. And here's your second palm strikes face. That's right after the third set of cloud hands. The standard parry and punch. Set up your left leg after the kicks, so setting up the kicks. High pat the horse. Go back to neutral. Go to the other neutral. Go to the right side, grasp the sparrow's tail. And you hook your wrists. The single whip. Then you hold the ball, reverse the ball, and diagonal flying. And we close the form just like in the other forms. And that's it. So most people watching this would say, how do you remember all that? It's always the question, right? So most of you, all of you would know, other than Monte. Monte is probably the first time you really saw the whole long form, right? Like completely like this. So that's the Tai Chi long form. It's not something that, I teach in the, sort of introductory sessions. We go first learn the short form, and then you build out that. But we know from doing it, and when you break it into the 3 sets of cloud hands, we know that there's sections that we couldn't identify when we were first learning it, right? It's so confusing when you first learn it because you're in single whip. So what happens after single whip? There's a lot of different things that happen after single whip. So that's what's confusing. But the thing is, memory is something that we use to house the information, but you have to have a logic, kind of, what's next as a logical progression. And there is a logical progression after you've learned it. You can see that you're really repeating lots of sections. So the form itself is, if you look at it, is done twice. Groupings of movement are done twice. Just like repulsive mounting. Everything is series, like the form, the fist and punch. When we go that way, it's done twice. The palm strikes face, it's done twice with a series of movements. So each lead-in for sections of the form are just a continuation. So you're learning some slightly different transitions to connect the pieces that becomes pretty obvious after you've gone through the process of forcing yourself to memorize it. That's one of the things in the Chinese culture, is that one of the reasons why they train with the memory is because probably back in the day that's the only way you could learn. So you're forced to memorize and learn. That's why a lot of the kids in China are so good with math or good with formulas and so forth, because from day one, when they start to learn to read and write, it's pure memory. Chinese characters, there's no alphabet. So you have to learn and memorize the characters. So you're already understanding the idea of that kind of memory. We also learn memory through the route system, but the thing is, that's just repeating it. And when you learn the multiplication tables, they tell you two numbers and you put it together. You don't know the logic behind what multiplication is because you're just doing pure memory. They kind of tried to do away with that, like those flashcards. But that's the way you learn. You don't know 1 and 2 is 1 times 2 is 2 or 1 times 2 until you kind of understand it. So it's like 2 times 2 is 4. You understand that it's just 2 plus 2. So the idea behind it, the strategy behind it isn't understood. You just memorize it. 2 times 2 equals 4, and that's all you remember. You don't think of you don't analyze it at the early stages. So, it's just the way we learn. But when you learn, what they called just pure memory, force memory, there's a value to that. So when you learn these forms, it's kind of a forced memory. So you're forced to go through it until you put these images in your brain and put these, organized things in your brain, and then you work off of that. But if you learn like that, you can take that information, hold it in there for a long time. So forced memory is one of those things. We used to do that with phone numbers. Yeah, so we used to know phone numbers by memorizing it because you had to say it over and over again, and then you dial it over and over again, and then eventually you know it, and it stays with you. I still remember my phone number from when we were kids because there used to be a name and then 5 digits, and the name, it was Highlands 52135, and the Highlands was HI, and my dad's restaurant was Garrison 76390. Garrison was GA 6390, and then his office in China was Hancock 6 3073. So how do you remember that? This is 60 years ago. Yeah, it was a forced memory. I remember that commercial for that rug company, Andrew 88000. It was a rug cleaning company because, anyways, it's just amazing and fascinating how you train your brain to do things. So all my life I've been memorizing sequences from martial arts. Just learning. Everything is just like that. You memorize them, and they show up later on, and you see that there's a use to it. Like we do Tai Chi, we don't know why we're doing it initially, and then you say, well, then you find out the use. How do you improve balance? Why do we lose balance? We lose balance because we don't pay attention to it all our life until it starts to go away. And when people start to fall down and you get older, it's the lack of use and the lack of understanding, or the lack of knowing that you need to do something to protect it. So when people are prescribed Tai Chi, it's because it's kind of noted for improving balance.